Here we have an Irish Chippendale long case clock, very particularly Irish. It's a design that you do not see in anywhere else in the British Isles or in Europe. Now, why do we have it that way? Because we had so many emigres coming in from the rest of the British Isles, Scotland, England, and also Huguenots and people from the continent. So they've come together and they've made a hybrid type of clock. Now, it's in mahogany, wonderful hot mahogany from San Domingo in Cuba, the Spanish islands. So about 1740 this design comes in, and this particular one I reckon is about 1745, maybe 1750. It's made by a guy called Thomas Verney, V-E-R-N-E-Y, and also in Dublin. Not many records, I'm afraid, on Thomas Verney. We had a problem in 1922. All our records were destroyed in what we refer to as the Forecourt fires, something to do with our Civil War. In any case, the general design, Chippendale with swan-necked pediment, you have carving throughout, carved rosettes, carved finial, carved cushion mould with acanthus foliage and a shell centre. You've got pilasters on the door, fluted pilasters with Corinthian columns, Corinthian capitals at the top of the columns. It's also reflected in quarters to the rear. Then you've got the long, full-length door with a break arch top. It's fielded, fully fielded, which is reflected right down in the base, where the base has a fully fielded panel. The entire clock stands on 2 bracket feet, and the most common question that we have, of course, is why is there only 2 bracket feet instead of 4? It's impossible to set up a clock with 4 feet. It has to lie against the wall, and it allows you to maneuver the internals of the clock. So the weights in the pendulum will fall into a chosen place, where if it's on 4 feet, well, you can imagine 4 feet would have to be absolutely perfect for the clock not to rock around and such. It's probably one of our prized possessions. It's extremely intact. I think the only thing we've done here is change the feet. The feet often take a bit of a battering because they stood on stone floors, and people, housekeepers and that, would be washing down the stone floors and feet would get damp. But the rest of it's extremely intact. Beautiful finish to it, which is a waxed finish. The reason for that is because French polish didn't exist in the Georgian period except into the 19th century. So at 1740 to 50, they'd be using colours and waxes, and it gives a very soft, beautiful tone to the wood. Not to be found elsewhere in the world, very much something that belongs in a museum here and maybe even in your home.
So,